All right, hello everyone, and welcome back to MREK Grandmaster Cup. We're here with a pretty exciting matchup between Vaxei and gnahus, the former tourney GOAT in Vaxei versus the number 5 player in the world and the number 1 Polish player, actually. Many would think it's Malashevsky, but number 1 Polish player in the world is gnahus. I'm Dio. I'm here with this one guy for what is sure to be a pretty exciting match between two very high skill cap players.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to this one. It's the return of Vaxei. We haven't seen him in a tournament in, I think, about 2 years now. Last time I can recall seeing him, Yuki Aim, exactly. Summer of 2021, the last time Vaxei took part in a tournament, and of course did end up winning that in dramatic fashion. And now looking to make his return to the tournament scene here at MGC. On the other side, you know, you mentioned gnahus, somewhat surprising to some people that he's number 1 Poland, considering the meteoric rise over the last couple of years and true, like, current tourney GOAT status of Malashevsky. But gnahus, a very, very strong mechanical player who has risen up the ranks basically by leveraging his aim and his high skill cap DT plays. So very interested to see how this matchup goes, but you gotta think that Vaxei is going to want to make a statement in his first match back.
Yeah, absolutely. And you talk about gnahus being a really, really good aim player and somebody who leveraged that aim to become a top player, playing stuff like 300 BPM, 9+ star DT aim. Well, Hard Rock won the very first ban by Vaxei, and of course gnahus with a very, very good score on Koei versus the United States in OWC 2022 in finals. Vaxei banning that one out as well, not wanting to fall prey to the 800k plus that gnahus was able to put up in that match. And gnahus banning out Honesty. Vaxei, an extremely good stream flow aim player, in fact. And also a pretty good speed player. If you may have forgotten, the rise of Vaxei was originally with DT, not with Hard Rock, not with streams like it is more so nowadays, but with Double Time in particular. And Vaxei, a very, very good speed player. So despite gnahus more so a DT player nowadays than Vaxei, we kind of expect Vaxei to pick more into some of the tapping maps, and that is going to be the first pick for Vaxei. It's Satori Depon, the Nomad 5. I think this is 255 BPM, in fact. And only 1 minute and 54 seconds, but 7.85 stars, the highest star rating in the Nomad pool, and the highest star rating in the entire map pool outside of DT2, which is already banned out by gnahus. So not really all that surprising to see Vaxei pick into this type of speed, I don't think, as a lot of what he was really good at when he was a DT player and a tournament player was some of these speed maps.
Yeah, I mean, first ever 1K was Tsukinami, which is just super high skill cap DT performance, so Vaxei definitely comfy with that high skill level tapping and aim, which makes things a little scary for gnahus, and I think going into just raw tapping here, a little akin to what we saw a couple matches ago with intercambing and Flying Tuna, where one player has a distinct advantage on tapping maps, whereas the other maybe, you know, makes his presence felt on some of the aim stuff. So we will see how this one plays out, but I think starting off with this Nomad 5, pretty good spot for Vaxei. I will say, though, didn't have necessarily the greatest results in qualifiers on the raw tapping stuff. Not his, like, absolute best that we've seen out of him, so curious to see how this goes on a slightly easier pool than the qualifiers.
I will also say, gnahus, not a bad speed player at all, right? To play 300 BPM DT aim, there's at least some requisite speed for that type of stuff, right? Like, 255 is not particularly fast if you're playing 300 BPM DT stuff, and gnahus, no slouch whatsoever, actually has the score lead, the AC lead, by about 0.6% at the break, halfway through the map. Double FC still intact in the first map of the match. We said both of these players are very high skill cap, that it was likely to be a pretty good match between these two. I think the first pick is living up to that so far. Lots of act drops for Vaxei going into this slower section. A lot of shorter bursts, and there's the miss-aim for Vaxei. Shook off the stream and was not able to recover the aim on the patterns afterwards. Those jumps after the stream, so tricky, not because of the jumps themselves, but because you might be straining your stamina on the streams, and that's exactly what happens to Vaxei. gnahus now with the break point almost certainly secured on Vaxei's first pick.
Yeah, and I gotta say, I was actually a little surprised to see Vaxei going first pick raw speed. I would have thought in a matchup like this, he would have probably wanted to go away from the raw mechanics maps because that's what gnahus is gonna favor. But opting into this Nomad 5, and it just did not work out for him, and that's gonna be a very, very convincing first pick. The FC comes in for gnahus, 98 accuracy, beating out Vaxei 339k, a significant margin of victory there to open things up at the break point. And that'll make things a little interesting too, because there are going to be a couple of other options that gnahus might want to opt into now that he gets a little bit of information from how that particular pick went. Starting things off on the right foot for what you got to consider the underdog in a matchup like this. Even though Vaxei may be a little rusty for tournament play, he's still Vaxei. You know, you never bet against the guy, but that is how you want to start things off against him for any opponent.
Yeah, I mean, Vaxei qualified into this tournament as seed number 4, right? This was not a qualification for Vaxei that was really under question at all. He was top 4 out of qualifiers. Only a couple of people were able to do better than him in the entire tournament pool. And for gnahus to take the breakpoint immediately bodes very well for his chances in this match. Like you said, there's a couple of maps left. Notably DT3, I think, is the one speed map really left in the pool at this point, and gnahus may be wanting to go into that at some point during this match. Maybe right now, might be saving it for later on. And of course, gnahus a very good aim player, and we kind of expect, you know, the Nomad 1, the Hidden 1, the DT 1 to be gnahus picks, despite Vaxei also being a very good aim player. And there's the Hidden 1 for gnahus as his first pick. I kind of expect Vaxei to go into more of the hard rocks and some of the more tech-focused maps in this pool, because as much as gnahus is a very good aim player and a very good ult player, he's not particularly a tech player. So stuff like the Nomad 4, the Hidden 3, I think are going to be pretty good picks for Vaxei. But this is a very interesting way to open things off for sure, and gnahus going to be pretty comfortable on a map like this.
Yeah, a very, very good aim player. This is not a comfortable aim map, so this is not the sort of thing you see if you're just trying to farm and climb up the ranks, as he's done with aim maps, you know, kind of over his time rising up, but still something that he is most likely going to feel pretty good about. That being said, Vaxei, always solid at aim control, never somebody you can count out on really any map like this. And so I think we're in for a pretty solid battle. Those linear anti-aim patterns are going to be what I think make or break this map for both of these players. As we've seen basically every time it's been picked, they're very tricky, very awkward to get your aim control dialed in, as we've seen an early break from gnahus on that bottom right corner on one of those early anti-aim patterns. That is so brutal, and he breaks in the same spot again, actually. Not how you want to start off your own first pick if you're gnahus here with the 1-0 breakpoint advantage.
Yeah, it's not top left, it's bottom right, giving gnahus the trouble right here. Man after my own heart with those bottom right troubles, honestly. And this is the kind of map where if you are really uncomfortable in one of the corners, you're going to pay for it, because a lot of the patterns in this map go corner to corner with anti-aim. It's really, really control focused, and so if your aim in those corners is kind of shaky, you're really going to struggle to hold consistent combo on this. And this first KI time now looking pretty good for Vaxei, still holding on. gnahus finding another break, and yeah, this first pick for gnahus really heavily backfiring, I think, in a more spectacular way than the Nomad 5 first pick for Vaxei, at least so far. I mean, Vaxei still with almost 600k on the first pick, so still a good score despite the FC from gnahus. This time around, not a very consistent score from gnahus so far, only a third of the way into the map.
Yeah, both players just picking, I guess, their opponent's strengths here to start things off. Vaxei, that aim control, man, he has always been so good at it. This is just starting off so well for him. Halfway through, still holding onto the FC through a lot of really awkward patterns. And lest we forget, you know, like, just because he lost 1 point, as you said, he still put up a good score on it. This is still Vaxei. Like, just because gnahus has a pick here doesn't mean anything. It's this was still always going to be a fight, and Vaxei's winning it so far. With only a third of the map to go, that's a huge combo lead, a 200k score lead. It's going to be really difficult for gnahus to make any sort of comeback here. Vaxei would have to break pretty much immediately now and have trouble the rest of the way, because he's got the combo lead, he's got the act lead, he's got the score lead, he's got everything you could possibly ask for here to try and level this match one apiece after both players' first picks.
Yeah, unfortunately for gnahus, this one doesn't look like it's going to work out in his favor, as this ending here is definitely significantly harder than a lot of the other TI times. You expect both players to break during this section. And so with Vaxei holding on past 3/4 of the way into the map, even with that slider break, I don't think it's going to matter at all. The score lead over 250k for Vaxei, and yes, there's combo on gnahus. Yes, he does hit the 1/3, but there's only so much map left, and that score lead is pretty much insurmountable for gnahus at this point. If he does manage to combo the ending here, I'm going to be really impressed, but I think it's going to be all for naught even if he does, and he does not. So that is going to be 1-1. The players picking for each other with a couple of early breakpoints to start us off in this match. And, I mean, this is kind of how we expected things to go, right? We expect this to be a little bit of a back-and-forth match, despite the seeding difference, despite it being seed 4 versus seed 13. These are still two of the best players in the world. gnahus is not rank 5 global for nothing, and so you expect this match to be relatively close. And very nice to see it start off 1-1.
Yeah, and I will say shoutouts to gnahus for ending up with better accuracy and a very similar miscount despite his struggles early on. He definitely got a little more into his comfort zone, which is unfortunately, I feel we've seen this a lot already today where a player fell behind, built up a big combo, and it just ended up being slightly too little, slightly too late, as it happens there to gnahus, as we saw it happen to a couple times, intercamming and flying tuna in their match earlier. But yeah, one pick each. They just picked for each other, and Vaxei is gonna go Hard Rock 3. You know, anybody who follows his YouTube saw the play on that other map of this song, and there is not a lot in common between the two other than the rhythm, but it is a challenging aim control, rhythm control, little finger control map. Playing God by Polyphia. I said it before, and I'll say it again. One of my favorite songs currently. Just a really good one, and makes for a very exciting map as well.
Yeah, this map's really tricky also. I mean, even if you are good at other sets of this song, it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be good at this particular difficulty. CS 6.5 after Hard Rock, a little under 7 stars, but precision is pretty underweighted, so you can expect this to play a lot harder than that. And still a lot of the finger control you expect out of Polyphia sets, but really the aim control is so difficult on this map. I think the finger control is almost secondary on something like this, as the aim control required to hit a lot of these patterns on CS 6.5 is next level. You see back and forth wiggles, you see cut doubles, you see just accel decel flow aim, you see cut streams. It has it all, really. And being able to keep composed and keep control over your aim with this high circle size is really difficult. Both players doing a fantastic job of it so far, still holding on to the double FC. But there goes gnahus on a straight line triple. Just even a simple pattern like that can be so difficult with high spacing and high circle size.
Yeah, Vaxei's aim control just proving to be a little stronger through the early portion of this map. He is going to take a pretty notable combo lead. gnahus, though, still has the AC lead, and that's going to be a break for Vaxei, so it's going to throw it right back on over here if gnahus can hold. You know, a little bit like what we've seen where you can hold through the intro, but you get to some harder patterning, and sometimes you find a couple breaks going into the quiet, slow section at the break here. It's going to be gnahus with the advantage, slightly back in accuracy with combo lead, and the score cap should go back over to him as well. This is, I don't feel like what you would have expected on this pick, but he is performing admirably on it thus far. But this map does not get any easier once you get through the slow section, so things are going to ramp back up, and this is by no means over for quite some time.
Yeah, we saw in the slow section earlier during this part, I think it was Flying Tuna missing on air against Intercambing, and that giving it back over. Neither of these players is going to be missing during the slow part right now. Oh my... Why speak?
Yeah,
why speak?
Yeah, I don't know. Why say
why
words?
Speak? Why speak? Why say words? gnahus is going to lose the combo lead. Vaxei is going to hold the combo lead right now. Neither of them break during the harder parts, and gnahus might just give over the second pick to Vaxei now. It's still a tied score. It's not going to decide the match or anything, but that is really unfortunate as a break for gnahus, as the score lead was going to go his way, and if he didn't break during the slow section on the air, then he may have been able to win it with that break there as the last break in the map for him so far. Vaxei hitting all of this at the end is actually really impressive, though. This is much more difficult than it looks. These types of patterns are extremely difficult.
And I don't think it looks that easy to begin with, but hey, yeah, this is Well, it was a pretty solid combo until that break, until that second break. Either way, Vaxei doing what he needed to do there. Takes the point by 90k. Just, on some of these super difficult maps, I feel it's just like hold on one or two patterns where your opponent breaks, and that's all it really can take. Vaxei showing that there with that bigger combo, not breaking on air in at the 2/3 mark and holding through most of the outro. And yeah, 2-1. I mean, we're just on pick now. No, after the third pick is the first one to be won by the player selecting it. So now we're gonna go back over to gnahus, who first pick hidden one. Does he just go DT1? He does.
He does.
Okay.
Yeah.
He does just I mean, this is like a no-brainer. I feel like this is his wheelhouse, firmly, squarely. Absolutely.
That said, this is kind of reminiscent of the No Mod 5 pick from Vaxei in that, like, you know, yeah, gnahus is really good at DT aim, but so is Vaxei, right? Like, it's not like this guy's bad at DT aim, and also the map is quote unquote only 7.7 stars, so it's not the skill cap, right? You're not skill capping Vaxei on 7.7 stars. So I think this is definitely a toss-up sort of pick, and that is the trouble for gnahus picking in this match, is that a lot of the aim picks really are toss-ups because you are not at the point where, you know, rank 5 global skill cap starts to matter when your opponent is also, you know, rank 26 global. I don't think that skill cap's going to start mattering yet in round 16. So good luck to them on this map. It's only AR 10 after double time. It is OD 10.4, so accuracy is going to be a challenge for both of these players on the one and only custom map in this map pool, mapped by Nanoya for us. This round's double time 1, Futaridake no Kotoba by Buta Otome.
Yeah, I had to do a double take when I first saw this because when I looked on the sheet, I was like, wait, there's a rank set of this. There's no way it's that map, and it in fact wasn't. It was a custom here. Early break from Vaxei. I was gonna say like this is the type of map where you could unironically potentially see a double FC, but clearly that is not going to happen as Vaxei breaks early on and breaks again as well. He's a little bit struggling on something that I wouldn't expect him to have problems with at all, to be honest. I would expect Vaxei to be quite comfortable with this, but instead it is gnahus, clearly the more comfortable player on this map. As I said, it's definitely the sort of thing that he loves to play and is extremely, extremely talented on. But you would think the same of Vaxei generally, so just not all quite there, and gnahus taking full advantage to a 150k score lead at the halfway mark.
Yeah, really solid pick for gnahus so far. Definitely still a lot of map left. Still time for a comeback for Vaxei if gnahus misses and Vaxei holds, but that's a big if, right? There's still a pretty big score lead right now for gnahus, well over 200k up on Vaxei at the moment, and doesn't show any signs of slowing down right now. Really comfortable. AC lead and combo lead still intact with the FC for gnahus. This map doesn't really change going into the last quarter either. Like, it doesn't get much more difficult or any easier, or the patterning changing at all. It's really lots of the same here. Some slightly awkward stuff and some pretty comfortable stuff. And if gnahus has comboed to this point, I think it's pretty much over at this point.
Yeah, this is over at this point. There's just not enough score left.
Will he FC?
Yeah, right. That's the only question left. I was going to say exactly that. Will he pull off the FC? Can he get up to maybe 99 AC for the FC as well, which would just be the cherry on top? And not quite, as he hits a couple hundreds right at the end. He SS'd those triples, and then he hit a couple hundreds on the single taps. That's unfortunate, but it's still an FC. It's still a very good performance. 3 misses from Vaxei. Not his best, but I mean, it's very difficult to beat an FC with that kind of accuracy, especially on OD 10.4. Another very solid play from gnahus there. So keeping it even.
Same 100 count for both players, by the way. If there were not those early misses for Vaxei, that may have been spin to win, or, you know, placement of the hundreds deciding the map, which would have been very cool to see. But very luckily for gnahus, it does not come down to that. It is the reverse choke for Vaxei with a couple early misses at the start of the map. And going to be him tying it up 2-2. The players now fully picking for themselves and winning their own picks rather than getting break pointed over and over again. And now we go to something that I'm really not sure how this goes. The hidden two. 240 BPM, AR 8.7 tech reading.
Can I just say, like, they're both not good at this?
Yeah.
Like, this is Vaxei betting on himself being less bad at this skill set. And, like, to say that Vaxei's bad at any skill set feels a little bit like heresy. but never been a guy who was known for like low AR gimmick stuff. If there was ever a weakness that he had in tournaments, it was like low AR gimmick hidden. Not that he was bad at it, but just that it was his least good skill set, I suppose.
Yep.
But again, just I think betting on himself being better at this than gnahus, who this is pretty much the diametrically opposed side of a skill set from what he is good at.
I said gnahus is a hidden player. Is also a high BPM player, but okay, no, he's got 80% DAC. I don't think this one's going so well for him. You know, you gotta give him some credit, right? You gotta say, you know, hey, rank 5 global, good at hidden, good at high BPM. It might be AR 8.7, but maybe we'll see him pop off. Who knows? This is a very just gimmicky map. The patterns in this don't really repeat, and they're all pretty difficult to read, and there's very high note density, even though it's not AR 8 because of the BPM. And some of the sliders are really tricky. Like, you've got these square sliders in the middle of the map that could go either way, and so having snaking sliders turned on is a thing. By the way, they're both actually still full comboing right now. The AC has improved quite significantly for gnahus, and halfway through the map with a double FC intact. This is a very interesting map now, all of a sudden.
Yeah, I don't know if they must have just both... Oh, Vaxei misses bottom right! No, it's gnahus' break from the earlier map, but now it's Vaxei's turn. Alright, I guess throw everything I thought about this map completely out of the window because I just don't know what I'm talking about. Apparently these guys are just both really good at this, and gnahus is secretly a low AR, high-density hidden player. Little did I know. I wonder if they just both practice this a lot. I don't know. I mean, he's good at hidden. I just didn't anticipate, you know, like this.
Yeah, no, I didn't think he would be this good at the low approach rate and density check hidden map here. But this is something else as a score from gnahus, already up 150k or so over Vaxei. Holds through the burst, almost over taps that single tap right afterwards. But at over 3/4 of the way into the map with full combo still intact, hitting the Osu sliders. gnahus, I think, has taken the break point once again off of Vaxei. Will be going up 3-2 with his pick next up as well.
Yeah, this is... I don't know, I guess it's just a skill set I haven't seen the guy on. I mean, I've seen him on a lot of other things, but I haven't seen him on the low AR gimmick stuff, but that's, I guess, just my bad, because he drops the casual FC, as you do. Vaxei, 2% better accuracy, 1 miss, but it just doesn't matter when you miss halfway through. It's irrelevant. And that is 3-2 breakpoint lead. As you said, gnahus with the advantage and his own pick to come. If he can consolidate 4-2, looks like a pretty reasonable spot for him to be in, so... We'll see if he can come up with a really solid pick here next, but that's a pretty important break point to win halfway through the match here.
Players in chat talking about combo game. It's definitely the case for gnahus on this one. I mean, 95 AC.
Honestly, 95.5 on this isn't the worst. I mean, at the end of the day, like, that's not terrible on that map. It's not great, but it's not terrible.
Well,
and what does he pick now? Is this like continue picking ones?
Is it the double time 3 finally? That's still left up. I don't know.
Yeah, it could be DT3 or it could be just Nomad 1. I don't know that you pick this Nomad 1 against Vaxei, but if you're feeling really good about your aim, it's always fine.
And it looks like it is going to be the Nomad 1 actually. Kitsune Yomeri keeps going with the 1 slot, picked Hidden 1, DT 1, Nomad 1 with Hard Rock 1 banned. So all 3 aim slots available going into gnahus right now. 240 BPM jump aim. I mean, there's pattern aim in this as well. There's lots of 1-2 aim in this. There's lots of triangles in this. There's, you know, it's an aim map. It's an aim map through and through, and if you can play aim at 7.5+ stars very well, then you'll do pretty well on this map.
Yeah, I mean, is there anything where you need, like, is there anything other than one? There's like a couple of 1/3 rhythms, I guess, just not very many. Yeah, it's just giant front aim. These are both like really good aim players, right? This is another one that I feel could just go either way. Thoughts on this cover of this song, by the way, Dio?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't know whether I want to hate it or love it at the same time. I'm really unsure what to think of this cover. Yeah, no, I don't even know. I don't know whether I like it or dislike it at the same time. I guess I'll say good. I don't mind listening to it. So it's better than I can say for lots of other songs in this game. That's for sure.
Yeah, I don't know. This pool has pretty good songs for the most part, though. Like, shoutouts to most of this pool. As we go through, quarter of the way in. They just look comfy. These guys both very, very good aim players. They just look comfortable, but it doesn't... I mean, there's like a couple slowdowns, but in general, this doesn't get any easier. Obviously, if you get to the last ki with both players FCing, the spacing gets really wild, and I don't know that... imagine the nerves coming to the end of this map with a double FC intact. That would be pretty crazy, but so far we're on course for something pretty impressive as we continue to see a double FC with, I think, 1 combined 100.
Yeah, that is 1 combined 100 between 3 combined 100s between the two. 4 combined 100. Thank you, Aaron. Thank you, Aaron.
My bad.
But yeah, this is gnahus is a top 5 player based purely off his aim. And Vaxei, before White Cat was around, before the days of White Cat, Vaxei was the 10-star no-mod aim guy, right? So, both of these players are going to be really comfortable on this map, and it's halfway through now, Aaron, and both of them are holding the FC, so literally the only thing that matters now is whoever misses first, or if one of them just starts to completely fall apart now. And we are just kind of left holding our breath, waiting for either of these players to drop a single combined miss, as both of them are still holding the FCs, and the score is flickering back and forth with identical act for both players.
We're 2/3 of the way in, and they're holding a double FC. I'm starting to, once again, get just a little bit nervous. Let's, like I have said in the past on other maps, just imagine the nerves. You've got a quarter of the map to go. You've got the exact same accuracy. Nobody has broken. The map, the map is only going to get harder because the spacing in the last ki of this is absolutely insane. But we might just get there with a double FC intact, and the pressure will be on for both these players to hit the screen jumps. There's still no breaks for 1200 combo in a piece, and here it's gonna go. It just is gonna get harder and harder. Sooner or later, something's gotta give, right?
Sooner or later, something's gotta give, whether it's accuracy or combo, one of the two. A slider end dropped for gnahus, the only determining factor right now. As both of them continue to hold on to the FC, we go through the crazy slider here right before the end of the map, and this is where it'll really start to pick up. Less than 1/8 of the map left to go, and the FCs are still intact for both players. Vaxei finds a miss! He finds one single miss, and gnahus instantly takes the lead.
Goodbye.
Oh my god. He misses as well, but the score lead.
Yeah, that miss doesn't matter. Vaxei doesn't have the combo with only a 60 combo lead to bring it back. That was all that mattered, just the miss at the slightly earlier time. I don't think it matters.
It will not matter.
And it's a consolidated break point to gnahus. I don't know that 25 minutes ago you could have expected that to happen, but he is displaying some mechanical superiority so far over Vaxei in this match, which is a sentence that I don't know I expected to say about just about anyone in the game, but it's happening here right before our eyes, and that's a consolidated break point, and gnahus 2 points away from the win now.
I mean, gnahus in the last World Cup for Team Poland was one of their power players, right? Like, yes, Malashevsky was their carry, but they don't get to top 4 without gnahus on their team, right? From the 800k on Koei versus the United States to really solid DT and aim scores throughout the tournament, right? This guy was somebody who was putting up really solid scores on a wide variety of picks for them and has now climbed to top 5 global. So, he's never been a particularly amazing tournament player overall, but with top 5 global mechanics backing you up, if you put effort into tournaments, you will become one of the best tournament players in the game, right? That's how that works. Because
just ask MREK.
Yeah, just ask MREK, right? Just ask anybody else who's former top 1 and decided to become a tournament player, a la Vaxei, right? Vaxei was not a tournament player before he was rank 1 global, and then he kind of stopped farming a little bit and became the greatest tournament player of all time. So when you can transition those base mechanics from the game into other stuff, that is when you start to really pop off as a tournament player. The problem now for gnahus is that those basic mechanics maps are pretty much gone from the pool. The only one left is Double Time 3, and he has been noticeably avoiding that pick throughout this match. So We're going to have to see whether he can close this out and complete the upset, or whether Vaxei will be able to turn it around and bring himself back into the driver's seat of this match and continue the winner's bracket run from the higher seated position.
Yeah, this is the point where things, I think, will start to get a little more interesting. We have, what is our pick here? It is going to be the Nomad 4. So we definitely go that, you know, opposite of mechanics route, but winning Hidden 2, which is kind of a techie reading map, and now you have a tech map that is, you know, kind of pure slider aim. You know, Vaxei thinking, maybe I've got him right where I want him now, down 4-2, but with no really blatantly obvious picks other than maybe the DT3 left. So we'll see how things go. I like, obviously this is a big point in the match, like, that goes without saying, but it really does feel, because if Vaxei can win this, then, you know, it's like, okay, maybe he goes into the Hidden 3, and maybe gnahus is going to be, you know, a little bit questionable in his remaining picks, but the way this match has been going, gnahus has been looking good on stuff that you maybe wouldn't anticipate him looking quite that strong on, so definitely could surprise us on this just, you know, kind of raw slider tech map. We go in. This is like, you've got, this is a must win, right? If you're Vaxei, you're 4-2 down. This is pretty much a must win.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you lose this pick as Vaxei, you are down 5-2, match point for gnahus with his next pick. And whether he's been noticeably avoiding the double time 3 because he's not comfortable on it, or because he wants to save it to close out the match, or as a sort of last stand sort of pick, is an unanswered question at this point. Pretty much identical accuracy for both players. Both of them make it through the rhythm change section there with even more high velocity sliders during that part of the map. Ever so slight score lead for Vaxei based off the accuracy and the timing of the 100s. But the score is just flickering back and forth right now as both players holding on to the full combo with identical accuracy. Once again, for both of these players, it was Nomad 1 last map and Nomad 4 this time around, where they're both holding the FC, closing in on the halfway mark of the map, Aaron.
Yeah, this map gets so difficult, though, with these screen sliders and the kick sliders thrown in between them. That's where we've seen players breaking, but both players make it through at 700 combo apiece. This section, though, in some of these patterns, you can just break if you're the least bit off any of your slider aim. Definitely can't... You have to be paying such close attention to everything you're playing in this section, and really through the rest of this map. But, man, both these guys looking pretty calm, cool, and collected so far. Slight ACK lead to Vaxei has, I believe, a little combo lead. Yeah, it's a 3 combo lead from slider ends as well. But it's 8k score. Like, that's all it is. And again, it's just double FC. And we're past halfway through. I mean, this is just terrifying, because one break could lose you this map right here and right now, instantly. And if you're Vaxei, you just have to avoid that. You have to combo at all costs. And if you're gnahus, you've got a little bit of room to play with. You want to win this, but it's not a must-win in the way it is for your opponent. Perhaps that's a little bit freeing, but he does break on those kick sliders, and Vaxei now is going to take the lead on the point, and that might be all it takes if he can hold through just a little longer.
I think that's going to be pretty much it here for this pick. gnahus finding another slider break. The accuracy lead has been with Vaxei since the last heavy slider section and is only growing at this point. So Vaxei not going to have any trouble closing this map out now as we get into yet another rhythm change section, another 1/3 section. And this is still full combo intact for Vaxei, if you were wondering. Still holding on to that FC from the start of the map. No issues whatsoever, apparently, with holding on to the FC on the slider pick. I don't think anyone has full comboed this so far.
I was going to ask.
I don't even think Malashevsky has full comboed this. I think he FC'd the Hidden 3 in his match, not the Nomad 4.
Yeah.
And yeah, that is going to be the probably first FC on the map this weekend. Vaxei missing on air.
He misses on nothing. Just
that pattern's literally nothing. You can't even blame me for that, man. You cannot even blame me for that one. That was just the actual nothing miss. I don't know what the cursor. Cursor died. I don't know, man.
Blood decided he no longer wished to cook. He just like took the pan of perfectly prepared food and threw it out the window. Like, nope, I refuse to be this kind of chef. But it's still a comfortable win, 342k. Vaxei getting a very good pick there. And, well, it goes back over to gnahus, who probably picks DT3 here, and again, a very big map as Vaxei tries to maybe pick up a little momentum to make the comeback from 4-2 down. He only needs 1 break point to level it out, but it's going to be tough to come by if it's a DT3 pick, and it indeed is. Oh.
Yeah, so, this is...
tapping.
Yeah, it's just tapping. AR 10.3 to 85 BPM tapping. There's not a lot else to say about this one. Or sorry, 278 BPM tapping. Not quite 285. But still pretty high BPM.
Yeah, and I feel that, I mean, none of the streams in this are like particularly long, but it is quite high BPM, quite fast. Also, you do have to have some finger control and a little bit of rhythm control with like the kind of like awkward rhythm sliders and such that come through, just to avoid breaking on any of those or any of the buzz sliders. We've seen breaks on the buzz sliders before as well, so your wits must be about you on this pick. It's not just, you know, raw speed stamina. So we'll see. Again, Vaxei really needs a break point, and this would be a good place to get it to avoid falling behind the 5-3 and giving his opponent a couple of match points, which is something he has not done in a very, very long time.
Yeah, it's been a long time since we've seen Vaxei cornered at match point before. I mean, the only time in recent memory was in Yuki AIM Grand Finals versus MREK, but I don't even remember. I think it was MREK to win the last pick to force tiebreaker. So it has been quite a while since we've seen Vaxei down match point. We're not there yet, though. gnahus still has to win this map to force match point, and if he doesn't, we go 4-4, where we guaranteed get the last pick for both players. There goes Vaxei on the burst, though, and that is now combo lead gnahus, 2% act lead gnahus, looking very, very comfortable on this double time 3 so far.
Yep, that, you know, like Vaxei was looking fine until he wasn't, you know what I mean? Like, it seemed all good, and then it just was not all good, and do not look at Vaxei's accuracy. But that's gnahus with a 78k lead at the break there, and Vaxei with another miss, just not quite where he needs to be with this speed and finger control on the triples and the longer bursts. Meanwhile, gnahus looking calm, cool, collected, just shy of 99 act, combo still intact, FC still intact, and potentially match point soon to be intact.
This is one of the most exciting matches I've seen in quite some time. gnahus, seed number 13 out of qualifiers, not even top 8. Oh my god, he slider breaks on one of the buzz sliders there at the end. It's 3/4 of the map, though.
Yeah. It's 260k. Vaxei has a 500 combo, but I just don't think that, like, gnahus would have to continuously miss the rest of the way.
Yeah, pretty much. There's just too big of a score lead. It is combo lead for Vaxei now, but it's a percent act lead still intact for gnahus, and a 200k score lead still there as well, with just a sliver of map left, really. We're coming into the ending now. And like you said, I think you'd have to chain this over and over again for this to go over. So yeah, very exciting match. gnahus forcing match point, almost certainly forcing match point versus Vaxei now. Up 5-3. We'll find another slider break, but again, that score lead's still way too big for it to matter at all. Vaxei with a very good combo going into the ending, but down almost 1% in accuracy and down 124k by the end of the map. Now down 5-3 in the match. When was the last time you saw Vaxei back against the wall at match point?
1-1-1 Ultra in the finals against Bubbleman in something like January of 2018.
So a long time, a very long time.
The last time I can think of that he was genuinely behind in a match, and Bubbleman ended up winning that in his King of the World arc. The dude was an absolute legend. Still is, but that's about the last time I can remember Vaxei having any sort of trouble, and that was in like a grand finals. That was not in the first round on an RO16 pool. Yeah, the pools have come a long way, and this pool is maybe even harder than the grand finals pool was back then, but still, it's a long time ago, and we've got not a lot left to choose from here. This is Hidden 3. After winning Nomad 4, makes sense to go Hidden 3. You are against a good Hidden player who did beat you on a Hidden tech pick, but compared to Nomad 6 and Hard Rock 2, I think Vaxei feeling like this one is a little more advantageous for him. So he's going to stake his last pick on it and his tournament life on this pick and try to force gnahus into the last pick out of those other 2 remaining options.
Yeah, I mean, the remaining options, honestly, are not particularly good for gnahus. You've got a really, really tricky low AR Nomad, and you've got the CS 8.5 Hard Rock pick. So, I don't know, man. I don't know who to favor on either of those, frankly, especially after the hidden 2 going the way of gnahus. But, you know, Vaxei 1 missing in the middle of that hidden 2 does inspire some confidence on the Nomad 6. That said, he has to win this hidden 3 first before we get there. And like you said, gnahus a very good hidden player, but Vaxei the better tech player, at least based on recent memory and how things have gone in this match so far. That FC on Nomad 4 really inspires a lot of confidence on a map like this, where the slider patterns are not quite as difficult. There's a bit more of a flow aim focus in this map, but a lot of still really difficult sliders to break on in a map like this. We get into the first really difficult slider section, lots of back and forth circle patterns in this map as well. An early slider break for gnahus to start us off, and Vaxei still holding on to the full combo. About a third of the way through. This is a very short map as well.
Yeah, this is a quick one, and any early lead can really balloon. And Vaxei looking to just rush gnahus on this pick, put the fear of God into the man as he tries to select possibly the last map of this match. Vaxei does close this one out. It's only a 70k lead, but he's continuing to hold, and, you know, even behind on accuracy for Vaxei, it doesn't really matter because that combo lead is there. Still, it's a full third of the map to go. Like, you know, one miss can happen, but Vaxei doing what needs to be done here to try to force gnahus into the last pick on his side. Is this the moment, you know? Can this match just turn? Let's see here.
It's going to start somewhere.
Oh, it's a break from Vaxei. Wait a minute.
There's the slider break, but is there enough time? There's not even a quarter of the map left. It's a 100k score lead. But there goes
there's a lot of score.
There goes the combo.
Yeah. I was going to say there's a lot of score in this ending. It's pretty note dense, but when you break it, it no longer matters at that point.
Yeah, no.
So that is going to do it. Vaxei is going to take this pick. It's going to be, what about a 140, 150k final margin? And that is 5-4, which means all the pressure now goes on to gnahus as he tries to pick last to close out the match. The S rank from Vaxei, just the slider break. gnahus will have to choose between Nomad 6 and Hard Rock 2 to try to win. Vaxei, of course, wants to, if he wins one of those, we get our first tiebreaker of the weekend. So, you know, fingers crossed there, because we want to see, everybody I think wants to see RPG.
And, yeah, you know, we were talking about whether it's Hard Rock 2 or Nomad 6. Vaxei 1 missing, hidden 2 in the middle does inspire some confidence for him on this Nomad 6, and that is going to be the pick for gnahus. I think leaving it up to CS 8.5 on the very last pick of the match is probably not what you want to do. Yeah.
Yeah, imagine the nerds trying to play CS 8.5 at 5-4 match point against like Vaxei. I would not wish that upon my worst enemy.
No. And while we're here, before the very last pick of the match starts, quick shout out to Yuki Aim for all the peripherals listed on the forum post: SkyPad, mousepad, rapid trigger keyboard, and a second mousepad for first place. And shout out to GamerSups for sponsoring the tournament as well. You can get free samples today and 10% off products starting tomorrow with code MREKK. Free shipping for all your orders with that code as well. So check them out, and thanks again for sponsoring us. And back to your regularly scheduled, very high-tension Osu gameplay on the Nomad 6 here.
Yeah, the amount of tension involved in what is a 170 BPM AR8 Nomad pick, it's, you know, in terms of, like, that stuff, it's a little anticlimactic, but in terms of what this map actually serves up, it is definitely anything but. This is so challenging in terms of your aim control and your reading, and there is Vaxei with the break on the big slider. gnahus at 91 AC, Vaxei not too far ahead of that himself, but lead gnahus by 20k, and if a hidden 2 is anything to go by, that might be all it takes, is just one break.
This map is even trickier than hidden 2, though. You have lots of really weird beat snaps. You have a lot of really, really ridiculous aim control in this map as well. Some patterns that look like almost linear flow aim, but are in fact back and forth flow aim patterns instead. And of course, all the wacky sliders to go along with it. And gnahus right now is holding combo, holding the score lead. That can change in a moment's notice, though. There is the break from gnahus, and Vaxei now in the driver's seat once again. Doesn't have the score lead quite yet, behind on accuracy, but ahead significantly on combo. He needs to hold if he wants to force tiebreaker against gnahus right now.
Yeah, and he does get a little bit of easier combo here on this section. Not quite the most difficult portion of the map, but he's going to need every ounce of it. That score lead is finally coming over. But man, oh man, the pressure is huge. That's another big break from gnahus. That is massive, because that means the score lead goes over, and it gives Vaxei just the slightest bit of breathing room as he continues to hold. We head into the last moments of this match, of this map, excuse me. 50k the score lead. I think that might just be enough. Dio, is it RPG time? Could we be seeing it happen in Vaxei versus gnahus?
It might just be time, Aaron. Vaxei still holding combo during the hardest section of the map here, right at the end. Both of them break at the very end of the map. We are going to tiebreaker. The very first day of the tournament brings us to RPG between Vaxei and gnahus. You couldn't ask for a better match, man. Both of these players have been playing out of their minds. Full combo on the Hidden 2 for gnahus. Full combo on the Nomad 4 from Vaxei. Another full combo on DT1 from gnahus. Really, really insane scores from both of these players. Sorry, not quite full combo on the Nomad 4 from Vaxei. As, you know, it was close enough. It was close enough.
And, I don't want to make any assumptions. I don't want to make any predictions, because the way this match has gone has been so topsy-turvy, and just, you know, we subvert all expectations. But RPG feels like a Vaxei map. RPG feels a little like a Vaxei map.
A little bit. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes for gnahus. I think it's hard to really tell how this map is going to go, given how back and forth this match has been. That said, Vaxei has won both of the tech picks so far. And the Nomad 2 was banned out by gnahus, so you're looking at some of the aim and some of the speed to go the way of gnahus. Nomad 3 banned out by Vaxei as well. Kind of means some of the alt sections, maybe you favor gnahus on those. I mean, there's so much in this map that it feels hard to give it to one player in a match that has been back and forth, and I think that's what makes it a good tiebreaker.
Yeah, Miles and I were talking about this before, and of course didn't end up coming to fruition, but like, this is one of my favorite custom map TBs of all time, one of my favorite TBs of all time, period, because it has just so much to offer. It's got flow elements, it's got tech elements, it's got tapping elements, it's got speed, you know, it's got a little aim, and it's an absolute banger of a song. And it's 6 minutes long, and it uses every second of that 6 minutes to throw all kinds of stuff at you, so yeah, I do agree that this is one where it's just who's playing better at that exact moment in time. It's not, this is objectively favored to one person every single time it's played, because it throws so many things at you. And both these guys starting off really strong. 500 plus combo in, looking pretty comfy. This is what Vaxei is super good at, though. The flow aim stuff, really comfortable in, but gnahus, obviously no slouch either.
Yeah, both players comboing through the section. A bit of an act drop for gnahus. Is a little worse off on some of the flow aim stream sections than Vaxei, but does manage to make it through into some more of the slider aim. gnahus does find a slider break on one of those slider jumps. So it is combo lead, act lead for Vaxei intact right now. Still holding on to the FC on RPG, but we are not even a quarter of the way into this map so far. Don't get ahead of yourselves. This is not a huge combo lead in a map that is well over 2k combo and 6 minutes long. Not even a quarter of the way in still into this map. And yes, it is score lead Vaxei, but there's still plenty of time for a potential comeback from gnahus if a miss comes through for Vaxei, or rather when. You really don't expect anyone to full combo this sort of map.
No, it's over 2 years old, and it's been FC'd one time by the guy who has his name on the tournament. This section of the song.
Yeah, that section is so good. Really good. Listening. I am listening right now. I'm
simply listening. But yeah, Vaxei, after 2 years of his score being around on this map, is still, I think, rank 4 on it as we get into this very tricky tech section. These sliders, quick, like, burst kick sliders, and big long sliders you have to aim can really throw you off, and then it just keeps going and going and never lets up, you know? And don't look now, but gnahus quietly building up quite a solid combo, so if and when Vaxei finds a break, he may just be there to take advantage of it. The lead is only 73k due to the sheer length of the map. Tapping section, little speedy, and there's a break from gnahus. Okay.
The aim control in between the tapping sections is what catches him off, and Vaxei able to hold on. Still on 99.4 act for Vaxei. Here, you know, a quarter of the way in the map when gnahus missed, I said, okay, don't get ahead of yourselves, right? We are now halfway through, and Vaxei is still holding onto the full combo with 99.4 act. Another break comes through for gnahus. And at this point, you can maybe get a little bit ahead of yourselves because this combo lead and this score lead are massive for Vaxei right now.
Yeah, this is an unbelievable performance on this map. Like, period. Whether you're in solo or in a match. I mean, I don't know. There's probably single-digit players with 2K combo on this map, right? To this day. And Vaxei is just doing it live in a tiebreaker scenario in a match. gnahus with another break. That lead 185k, this combo lead 2,000 now has been crested by Vaxei. I mean, this is just outrageous stuff from the lad. He is really just showing off on this pick. I said, you know, I don't want to get ahead of myself with this feels favored to Vaxei, and now you're kind of seeing why.
Yeah, there are 11 scores on the leaderboard above 2K combo. Make this number 12 as Vaxei once again putting up a really incredible score on this map. 99.2 act, and we are 2/3 of the way into this pick. 3,400 max combo on this map, and he's comboed over 2/3 of it so far.
Man.
Yeah, this is kind of absurd. Like,
stupid.
What do you do with your gnahus, right? You just have to win earlier in the match. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
there's no winning TV. This.
Yeah, you just couldn't go to TV here. You couldn't. Oh, it's a slider break. No, that's how he loses the FC, man. On a slider break, 2,500 combo in. Oh, that is so sad. If he, I mean, like, the ending is really hard. I wouldn't be surprised if he breaks somewhere like and actually misses, but I mean, come on. He's done more than enough. 550k on this in match? Unreal. Unreal.
Yeah, and it doesn't even matter the miss at all, right? Because he's more than doubled gnahus' score already. Yeah, like we said earlier, you just can't go to tiebreaker if you're gnahus in this match, right? You just cannot go to tiebreaker because Vaxei is so good at this map that maybe if you're Malashevsky or like Karcher, maybe you win. Those are the only other two players in the tournament who have comparable scores on the leaderboard to Vaxei. But this kind of performance on RPG live in tournament is next level. That is an absolutely absurd score. And, you know, this was the first match in a very long time where we've seen Vaxei be on the back foot as he's still comboing the ending of RPG, by the way.
He still hasn't actually missed. This is still an S rank, I believe. I'm pretty sure that was just a slider break.
Yeah, it was a slider break. Yeah.
Yeah. Not. And this is also... Oh, there's the miss. All right. I was going to say this was also best accuracy if he continued to hold. But this is still best act. This is still best act. This is the only play on this over 99 act. And it's in a match. I mean, come on. If he hadn't had that slider break, this would be rank 2. Yeah, I don't know. That's one of the best tiebreaker performances I've seen in a very, very long time.
One of the best tiebreaker performances I've ever seen.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
full stop.
Yeah, 2,400 combo, 2 miss at the very end, 1 slider break, 654k, 99 act, best on the leaderboard on RPG. In your first
that's
tournament match back in 2 years.
That's almost better max combo than his leaderboard play. His leaderboard play is 2457 max combo and 4 misses actually.
Yeah, if you converted this over, that might actually be a higher score. I'm not sure. But that might actually be a higher score. I couldn't say for sure. It depends on what the misses look like at the end, but that's unreal.
That is just kind of ridiculous. Yeah, wow.
Also, okay, and I gotta give shout-outs to gnahus. All credit to the Polish man because he just pushed one of the greatest tournament players of all time to the absolute limit. Yes, you can talk about Vaxei not playing a tournament in 2 years. Yes, you can talk about him maybe being a little rusty. Yes, you can talk about him maybe having a little bit of an off day. But the fact is, gnahus did what he needed to do to get to the point in the match that he got to, and you gotta give the man a lot of credit for that. Because going up against Vaxei is like mental debuff for pretty much anybody in the world with the exception of like 2 players. So for gnahus to do what he did in this match and make it that competitive and have match points against the man is really, really impressive. But Vaxei showing why he's Vaxei there at the end by coming back and closing it out and putting up that outrageous tiebreaker performance.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember exactly how Grand Finals went in Yuki Aim, because I feel like that's the only other time that we have seen Vaxei be at match point in, like, ever, basically. Okay, and it was actually MREK up 6-5 over Vaxei in Yuki Aim tournament. That's the last time that he was behind in a match, is also the last real match that he played. So aside from that, though, I mean, there's not a lot of times where you've seen this guy be down match points multiple picks in a row. I mean, it was 2 maps in a row that Vaxei was down match point before this tiebreaker. So for gnahus to push him there is really, really awesome to see. I'm super excited to see how gnahus does in the losers bracket, because reminder, this is seed 4 versus seed 13 in this matchup. This was not a matchup at all where gnahus was favored to be at match point, let alone go to tiebreaker, let alone potentially win against Vaxei. So for him to do this well in this match bodes really well for how competitive we expect this tournament to be, even in the losers bracket. Yeah, that's all I got for this match. Aaron, anything else on this match in particular? Because, wow, that was an awesome match, man.
Yeah.
I'm so glad we got to cast that one. That was great.
Yeah, I came into this with tempered expectations because I just didn't know what to expect with Vaxei coming back after such a long break. gnahus, you know, maybe his skill set not being super favorable for him against Vaxei, so I didn't really 100% know what to expect here. But man, what we got out of it was an incredible back and forth battle, and it just makes me really, really excited to see both of these two guys going forward in the tournament. You know, Vaxei continuing in the winners bracket and gnahus going down to losers, but he'll definitely, if he keeps this sort of performance up, be fighting his way through. So just remarkable performance from both guys. Shout outs to both of them, and thank you to Vaxei and gnahus for just putting on an amazing show for us here.
Yeah, absolutely. That is going to do it for us for today. That is the last match of the day. Tomorrow we start out at 12 UTC with Karcher versus Scroll in the winners bracket, of course. We got a couple matches later in the day at 17 and 18 UTC, and we'll close it out at 22 UTC with Zinator versus Riot, followed by the map pool showcase for quarterfinals. So again, join us back here tomorrow at 12 UTC. If you don't know what time that is, I guess that's like 8 a.m. Eastern time in the United States and Canada, 1 p.m. in the UK, 2 p.m. in Central Europe, and like 10 p.m. in Australia for the most part. So yeah, good luck figuring out that time. It's in very many hours. We'll see you all tomorrow at 12 UTC for Karcher versus Scroll. I've been Dio. He's been T1G. Thank you very much to everyone for watching. Congrats to Vaxei on advancing into the winners bracket, and congratulations to gnahus for forcing such an amazing match out of him, and good luck to him in the losers bracket. We'll see you all tomorrow.